And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night show for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Once upon a time, I used to do a monologue for this show, and then it got to be too hard to write jokes all the time. I'm back at it. And I've written a monologue. I wrote this. I'll give you behind the scenes. It's Friday morning, typically when the show comes out. When I record the show, when it comes out, I took like 2 weeks off, 2 extra weeks off. But anyway, from the hiatus that I was already on, I was watching I got back from Trader Joe's, as one does, for one of my grocery stores of choice, and the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, or I guess the Nintendo Direct for today was in the midst of airing. I knew I was going to watch it. I knew I was going to be late. So I watched it from 9:30 to 10:30. And as soon as it finished, I went, I should record the show. So I wrote some jokes after it finished, and now I'm recording. As soon as I wrote those jokes. They're not good, but let's try it anyway. Who cares? The sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie has been revealed to be Super Mario Galaxy and will send the characters to space. All I can say is watch out, Peach and Rosalina. If what happened at SpaceX is any indication, the guy funding the whole mission could be gearing up for a 9th lawsuit. Newly merged Paramount Skydance is said to be putting in an offer to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, and if this deal goes through, Gayle King can finally achieve her wish of becoming a real news anchor on CNN. The 4th movie in the Conjuring franchise performed well at the box office last week, and it's all thanks to its lead, a single sweet little girl named Annabelle. New York Times released a 2025 Best Restaurants in America list featuring eateries in Atlanta, Boston, Kansas, and others. And when you know it, New York does feature Pizza Rat's establishment. And finally, New York Times published an article called 8 Phrases to Help Your Relationship Thrive. And no, not one of them is, babe, can you move so I can plug in my Switch while I hunt shinies in Pokemon ZA? All right, that's all the jokes I have for you today. All right, let's move on to what happened this week in late night. This week in late night, we saw, so everybody came back last week. Last week was the first official new seasons of shows, and in fact, the start of Colbert's 10th and final season. On the Tonight Show this week, we had appearances from Fred Armisen playing Carlos Alcaraz and Aryna Sabalenka from the U.S. Open. There were also interviews with Fred Armisen, Olivia Cook, Debbie Gibson, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, Michelle Dockery, and Steph Curry, Billy Crudup, Stephen Bartlett, Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ronson. Musical performances were thanks in part to Karen Alyala. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing that name. Caliuchis. And Raven Lenae, and then a comedian I've interviewed before, Gianmarco Cerezi. And then also the Savannah Bananas came by, so that was really interesting. On Late Night with Seth Meyers, we had the return of one of the best segments, Jokes Seth Can't Tell. I love Jokes Seth Can't Tell. I think Jenny Hagel and Amber Ruffin are so gosh dang funny. People don't watch these segments enough. All they do is watch a closer look. Who gives a crap about that? James Corden made his return to, I believe this might have been his second time being interviewed by Seth, but anyway, he was on Late Night. We also had Andy Bashir, Ashley Simpson Ross, which is a last name I did not know. It was just Ashley Simpson. Chance the Rapper, Seth Reese, who was a writer on the show. He wrote a movie. I believe this might be his 3rd movie. It's now starring Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell. A movie I won't be seeing, but I'm happy for him. Tom Pelphrey, Josh Gad, Hugh Bonneville, America Ferrera. For Colbert's show, The Late Show. God, I sound like I'm so down. Okay, there we go. For Colbert's show, he had a very busy week, as he did last week as well. Cillian Murphy, Will Ferrell in sort of a character. Eugene Levy, Sonia Sotomayor, Jennifer Aniston, Cooper Hoffman, Usher, Jim Hawkinson. And then we also had Meanwhile, another Rescue Dog segment. And Lady Gaga performed music. So did Mac DeMarco, excuse me. Kimmel had a very big week as well. He had the Spinal Tap Band along with Rob Reiner, which was just a wonderful sit-in with, I never thought, I knew This Is Spinal Tap has his fan base. And I've seen the movie and I enjoyed it. I have the same thing with Oasis when Oasis announced their reunion tour. And now this Spinal Tap movie is coming out. And everybody's talking about them. You never know when people are fans of things. Because when people are fans of Star Wars, they constantly talk about Star Wars. But before the Oasis reunion, people can only name 2 Oasis songs. And then suddenly they have the most fans in Los Angeles. Same thing for Spinal Tap. People watched this interview, they talk about, and the interview is almost half an hour long. It is 22 minutes. Like, you could throw in a commercial. You can throw in a couple commercial breaks and put it in a half-hour slot. You're welcome, ABC. I'm giving you ideas. But I never knew people liked Spinal Tap that much. They even performed. Nate Bargatze, Martha Plimpton, Bryan Cranston, Christopher Lloyd, who I just saw in Nobody 2. And Sean Penn and Owen Cooper also stopped by. Kimmel's music booking producer continues to work wonders. I'll say this: everybody is good at booking, and the Tonight Show, between the Tonight Show, Late Show, and Jimmy Kimmel Live, they have their ups and downs. But I think the most consistent one is probably Jimmy Kimmel Live. As I mentioned before, they had Spinal Tap. They also had CMAT. And then Disco Life from Say She She, which is amazing that they're able to get these bands. Last week tonight, John Oliver covered Trump and higher education, Trump's attacks on higher education, and Jon Stewart interviewed Spike Lee, and then who hosted? Oh my gosh. Who hosted the show? Why am I not doing this? Michael Costa, excuse me. Oh my goodness, I couldn't find it. All I had was the clip from The Daily Show, from Jon Stewart's interview with Spike Lee. Michael Costa hosted, and he spoke to Patrick McEnroe, Michael Grunwald, and Rainn Wilson. Grace Kludenschmidt had a bit, as well did Jordan Klepper. And Ronnie Chang did his sports war. So that's what happened this week in late night. All right, let's move on to a topic at hand. This comes from Deadline. It's written by Peter White. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon kicks off run of post-NFL Sunday shows. This is not anything new, but in an effort to what feels like seems like fill in time and just like have an ever expansive version of the franchise. Late night shows are now, or not are now, but they have been used to prop up the back end of other big events. Jimmy Kimmel often hosts during the NBA Finals week when they're on ABC episodes of his show in the prime time, as well as the episodes in the late night. We've seen Colbert's show do post sports shows and in fact post presidential conversation. What is the word I'm looking for? Debates and speech shows. And now Tonight Show will be doing some post NFL shows, which is very interesting. They're going to do 4 shows between September and December, all after NBC's Sunday Night Football, immediately following local news. He did one post NFL show, Sunday show last season. The first one is September 21st after the Kansas City Chiefs take on the New York Giants. With guests including Matthew McConaughey and Eric Church. It will be followed by shows after the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers on October 26th, Detroit Lions and Philadelphia Eagles on November 16th, and Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs on December 7th. Expect a lot of Taylor Swift jokes. Let me just tell you that. No offense to him, I just know where the writers are going to go with that. I also want to say this. I watch a lot of late night. The thing, and I don't watch every single second, but I tend to watch a lot of late night. And a lot of times, when an episode, and I watch it on YouTube TV because I record it. I know I could go to YouTube, but it's so fun to record it on YouTube TV. But a lot of times I'll watch a monologue and maybe the first guest, or a monologue and a desk bit in the case of Fallon's show, because they do desk bit, or they do games before they do interviews for a lot of people. It didn't used to be that way, but it keeps people entertained and it keeps people in the episode longer. And I'll stay with the show, and it's just fascinating to see how Fallon's writers have fallen into a rhythm when it comes to a style of joke where they're using misattributed quotes, made up quotes, which I sit there and I just go, God, it's not for me. It doesn't work for me, but that audience sure does like it. In the same vein, for Colbert's show, boy, oh boy, do they love to just cheer and ramble over there at the easiest softball joke. Anyway, these post-event is what I've called it. Post-event shows, episodes are just, again, as I mentioned, a wonderful way to keep people entertained with what they enjoy. And I like that they're live sometimes. I don't know if these are going to be live. It doesn't seem like they will be. And when I first saw this, I just thought, oh, great. The writers, the directors, the set people, the PAs, everybody gets that 5th day of work again. Because remember, late night shows used to be 5 days a week. And then over the past couple of decades, a lot of the shows have been whittling down to 4. And I think finally, Tonight Show went down to 4 a couple of years ago. I think it was the last show to do so. Post-event shows are wonderful, and I like it when it happens after the Super Bowl. I like it when Jimmy Kimmel does it after basketball games. It's fun. It's just another fun thing. Hey, you know what? It lets people get paid. And that's all I care about in the end. Okay, let's move on to the final story. This comes from Late Nighter, written by Jed Rosenweig. 3 late night storylines to watch at Sunday night's Emmy Awards. So we have the Emmys coming up in a couple of days. We also had the Creative Arts Emmys. That aired over the past 2 weeks. And let me see who the Creative Arts Emmys winners were there. We know that Seth Meyers did not win for short form comedy. Drama or variety series. Desi Lydick's Foxplain Desi Lydick's Foxplains from The Daily Show, that one. Something that I didn't even know existed until it was mentioned as a nomination. And then who else won? Saturday Night Live, which is technically late night, won for production design for a variety or reality series. And if you don't know, The Creative Arts Emmys are held over 2 weeks, and those are just the technical Emmys that they do count. They are primetime Emmys. They just don't, in the eyes of the people putting on the Emmys. I'm not even saying the Emmy, not even saying Emmy voters or the Emmy, the Television Academy themselves. In the eyes of that, they're just too much to put on the primetime Emmys. Sound mixing for variety specials or series included SNL winning for the 50th anniversary special, which was, I think, fantastic. They also won for emerging media program, the immersive experience, the version of the SNL 50 special, which I assume is on YouTube. You can go and look at the 360. They shot 360 degree view for some of those sketches. Actually, I think for all of them. Writing for a nonfiction program, The Daily Show presents Jordan Klepper. He put out one or two specials, but I don't know which one they put out. Just says which one was nominated. Writing for a variety special, SNL 50. So that earned a bunch of people. I don't know if I've seen any people of color in this. I see Michael J. and Sudie Green. Okay, that won a bunch of people some Emmys. That's cool. Jimmy Kimmel won one for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's interesting. Makeup for variety. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to a lot of late night adjacent projects won. Now, as Jed on Late Nighter writes here, there's 3 things to watch. Can Colbert break the Daily Show stranglehold on the Outstanding Talk series? Ever since Jon Stewart came back, the Daily Show has just been probably one of the most anticipated and discussed and talked about shows in terms of late night, besides John Oliver's show. It seems as if, this is stupid, but I know people think this way. It seems as though this is how people get their news. They have one choice to watch late night, and it's either going to be John Oliver or Jon Stewart's Monday show. And people are creatures of habits, and they just love watching one thing, and it's the Daily Show. I feel as though I feel like there's a minority, and by minority, I don't mean like there's only a couple of hundreds of, like maybe like 100,000 people taking in a lot of late night segments. But I do feel as though that there's not a lot of crossover between the fandoms. I feel as though, the people that watch Seth Meyers religiously aren't always the people that will go to Jimmy Kimmel. It's just based on, what you read online or what you see when you watch morning news, as I do, unfortunately. When you watch like the Today Show or GMA or CBS Mornings, and who are the clips that they always pull? Yes, it's going to be the ones that are on their network, but also they're not always talking about the same ones. Oh, CBS Morning's always quoting Colbert for some reason. Or showing a Colbert clip. So, what we have with Colbert is the way that he can be an upset when it comes to this. The Late Show's never won an Emmy out of his nominations. The Daily Show is constantly winning, but now it's only going to be between Kimmel, Daily Show, and Colbert. I feel as though, because Last Week Tonight was moved over to Variety, I think. I feel as though this could be the year, because people, Last Week Tonight and Daily Show and Jimmy Kimmel Live, so I was wrong about that. But I feel as though people will just use this as like a platform to give Colbert his Emmy for this show. I could definitely see it happening. Obviously, the show I want to win is not even nominated. Can SNL break Last Week Tonight's stranglehold on outstanding scripted variety series? So, Last Week Tonight there have been some shifts. In 2023, that's when Last Week Tonight moved out of the outstanding talk series category, where again it had won so much, And now it's over in the outstanding scripted variety series, where I don't understand how that works, but they did that. And it's beaten Saturday Night Live so many times ever since it's moved. But the thing is, Saturday Night Live also wins a shit ton of Emmys in other categories. So this seems like it's just like an excuse to give Last Week Tonight another Emmy. SNL, as Jed writes, is coming off of its 50th season. It's a landmark. So they're in the best position possible to win an Emmy. They've already won 11 record Emmys at the Creative Arts Emmys, which is huge. Its total is 112, the most in Emmy history. Behind it is Game of Thrones with 59. Jesus. Wow. Last Week Tonight has won the Outstanding Writing for Variety Series 9 years in a row. SNL hasn't won it since 2002. This could be the year for SNL to do this, but again, because of that 50th season, which they did a good job during. I think as a whole, it was missing some stuff. There are some things that I would like to have seen, some bigger celebrations, but they were able to put out a music documentary, that 50th anniversary special itself, another documentary series, 4-part series, following random parts of the show. Go watch the 4-part series. Also, if you haven't seen any of that stuff, you are really missing out. But the 4-part documentary it's really good, and I learned a lot. And I would say one of the episodes really stands out as to why are we covering this? Why is cowbell being covered? Why is that sketch being covered? And then we're covering the worst year the show's ever had, the worst years, I think, the writers, and then cowbell. And then the final thing that to be on the lookout for is, can SNL 50 topple Beyonce, the Super Bowl, and the Oscars? All of them have been nominated for Outstanding Variety Special Live. But now it's in the main show after being in the Creative Arts Emmys for the past couple of years. Conan hosted the Oscars. The Kendrick Lamar halftime show is something people are still talking about for some reason. And Beyonce's Christmas football halftime performance is also nominated. So, will Beyonce be in attendance? I believe every single person that's nominated here will be in attendance. Will this be an excuse for people to say, hey, let's give Kendrick Lamar an Emmy for some reason? Did people really enjoy Conan's great Oscars hosting stint? Or can SNL, did it have enough staying power from the time it premiered last October, I think it was October, and it lasting up until May, and did it hold enough of that hype? Did it garner enough hype to oust all of these 11-minute performances? Music performances plus Conan's hosting. This one is really up in the air. I don't know. I really enjoyed SNL 50, that 3-hour special. But I also enjoyed mostly these other things. Conan's really enjoyed it. Chad also includes 3 bonus mini storylines. Will host Nate Bargatze bring a little SNL magic to the Emmy stage? Nate's great. Nate's a funny guy. He's a good stand-up. He doesn't need any tricks or anything. However, he did host a Christmas special, I think, on NBC or ABC on broadcast last year, and he essentially did the same SNL sketches that he did when he hosts SNL, including Washington's Dream. Yes, I was right. He did host a Nashville Christmas special, and it was on CBS. Yeah. How will Colbert present is the other thing Jed posits. Given his reportedly frosty relations with CBS, this year's Emmy broadcaster, it was surprising to learn Stephen Colbert would be presenting Sunday night. Okay. And will Bowen Yang make Emmy history? Bowen Yang is already the most nominated Asian male performer in Emmy history, with 4 nominations. If he wins Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, he would become the first Asian performer ever to win the category, increasing his chances. He is the only SNL performer nominated in the category this year, hurting his chances. He's up against the Bears' Eben Moss-Bacharach, who has won the past 2 years. Bowen's, and this is not because I'm a fan of Las Culturistas, and it's not because I'm a fan of Bowen as an actor and as a comedy presence at all, but he should win this, and not because I want diversity, but I do want diversity, but he should win this because while Eben has done a good job in The Bear, both dramatically and semi-comedically, I don't think. It's fine that show was nominated in the Emmy categories for comedy. I genuinely, I don't really care as much as I should. I know internally I'm thinking I should be like livid that The Bear is nominated, but also The Bear is as funny as, and this is a show I stopped watching in season 2, but Atlanta, it's just, they're both as funny, as they are serious. They're more serious than they are funny. Or in Atlanta's case, out there with it in terms of ideas. But I'll say they're both funnier than Orange is the New Black. Another show I stopped watching. But I enjoy The Bear, and I do laugh. It's not, guffaws. It's not like when I saw the Naked Gun movies, I wasn't about to pee my pants from laughter. But I do think The Bear is, it does elicit a couple of chuckles. Not as many. It elicits more tears. Anyway, Bowen should win. He's a very funny guy, and he's earned it, and I'm excited to see what happens. Okay, we did it. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website sleeplesscomedy.com where you can see me talk to famous people. Sometimes if you want to watch a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the other podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast, and the Constitutionals, which is the entertainment business news podcast, go to youtube.com/sleeplesscomedy, where you can also watch me talk to famous people under the interviews. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram @C+Comedy. Me @ChadBlackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.